Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us, this ASICS team, in celebrating the Year of the Legends. My name is Nicole Driscoll, and I get to be joined here with a wonderful panel of guests on the ASICS team to help celebrate this momentous year for us. We're going to kick things off with some introductions as I for 5 years now.
Hi, everyone. My name is John Gregoric, and I am a sports marketing specialist. I deal with our athletes and sports marketing activations. I've actually had a relationship with our ASICS families going back to 1996. So I've been quite a while, but it's been great.
Hi guys, I'm Stephanie Smith. I've been with ASICS for about 9 years now. I'm the Northeast Area Manager. I oversee 3 of my area stores as well as my home store in Wrentham, Massachusetts.
And I'm Tim Ramastella, and I work with the Sportstyle merchandising team, and I'm coming up on my 3rd year with the ASICS team.
Welcome, everyone, and again, thank you for joining us. As we look to celebrate such an incredible year for us, a legendary year for us, we of course need to reflect on what that means, what our legend shoes are to the brand of ASICS. Our legend products really celebrate the history, the heritage, and the importance of our latest and greatest models and our latest and greatest technology that is developed here at our brand. As we look to go through the next 30 minutes with all of you, we will be talking about what those models are for us, the latest model of our legend lineup being the GT 2012, which Steph here will be diving into in greater detail, and also what that means from a Sportstyle's perspective as Tim takes us through his knowledge in that arena. But before we dive into everything, just wanted to give a sneak peek of what you have to look forward to as long as you stay through to the end. For all of you that are tuning in, we do have a special surprise involving a sweepstakes that you all are entered into just simply by showing up, but you have to stay till the end to figure out the details of what that entails. So please stay tuned. As we mentioned, with Year of the Legends, we are celebrating 4 incredible models of the ASICS shoe lineup. And with that, we want to make sure that we dive into the history of these models and just the history of the brand in general. So to start that off, I would like to start with you, John, and hear a little bit about where you were 25 to 30 years ago, to anniversary years or moments for 2 of our legendary models, but would like to toss that over to you to hear where you were at that point in time.
Sure, Nicole. I think you should keep in mind that I have trouble remembering what I had for dinner last night. But so 30 years ago, I actually was still training myself. In the early 90s, I was still competing and training for the, at that time, the 1996 Olympic team. I had come off of training for the 5,000 in 1992. And then, I was continuing to train myself. And then 25 years ago, and my career had morphed into coaching. I was coaching at Brown University. So for those, the Cumulus and the Nimbus 25 years ago, I was imparting some of my knowledge on young people I was coaching at Brown.
And you had mentioned just before we started this that in 1996, you fell in love with a particular ASICS model, and which would that be?
Yeah, so again, going back, 1996 was the year of the Atlanta Olympics, and that's when I came on board with ASICS in a sports marketing role. And the GT 2000 series has always been my favorite shoe. It's just the best combination of responsiveness and the weight. And as you know, we're always innovating here, and it just continues to innovate and create styles that are great for athletes of all levels, not just elite athletes, but the beginning runner all the way through to elite athletes. So it's we're always innovating, always looking at our athletes' testing and our biomechanical research and those aspects of the shoes. So it's great to be with a family who puts so much emphasis on that, on the athlete's foot and what's going to protect them from injury and fatigue, and it's always been a good part of what we stand for.
I agree. And I know that the GT2000 is one of your favorite models. We are going to leave those details to Steph here in a little bit. But what you and I can cover off on is going into a bit more detail on our other 3 legendary products, which would be the Nimbus, celebrating 25 years this year, Cumulus, also celebrating 25 years this year, and then our Gel Cayano, celebrating 30 years. I think it would be helpful for everyone watching for us to dive into exactly what each of those models can offer, what type of runner each of those models for. So maybe let's start there and let's look at the Nimbus 25.
Sure. Well, the Nimbus 25, as well as the Cumulus, are part of our cushioning line. And so if you the Nimbus 25 has got more cushioning than the Cumulus does. It they both have pure gel. Pure gel is one of the technologies that we can speak about across all of these the newer models. I think in the past you might remember that the gel was visible in our shoes. Now we have pure gel. The gel is still in there, but it's a lighter and it's a softer gel in the heel, and all of those models have it. The Cumulus is more of a neutral, versatile shoe for the versatile runner. The Nimbus, if you want that extra stack height, that extra cushioning ability, and both, again, remember Cumulus and Nimbus named after the cloud, so they have that cloud soft feel to them. And then the Cayano kind of moves you more into the stability line. It's got that great cushioning. It's sort of our premium model for cushioning and stability. And that introduces a new guidance system we call the 4D guidance system that Steph's going to get into more specifics later. But those are kind of the primarily differences in those models.
Amazing. So just to recap, for all of our stability runners out there, we have our Gel Cayano, with the latest model being the Gel Cayano 30, featuring our 4D guidance system. This is our most innovative piece of stability that we have at this moment in time, and this model is just for you if you are looking for stability as a runner. Moving on to the Nimbus. Gel Nimbus, with the latest model being the Gel Nimbus 25. This particular model is for those that are looking for enhanced cushioning, really that plush underfoot cushion to give you a smooth ride, but also making sure that you're feeling that cushion underfoot as you're going along your journey. And then for the final of the 3 legends that John and I will be covering off on is the Gel Cumulus 25. Again, really focusing on more of that neutral ride and experience, still with an emphasis on that cushion. It does also include the pure gel, but looking for that everyday runner and making sure you're still feeling the plushness of the latest innovation from a cushion perspective that ASICS has to offer. Well, thank you, John. I think that very much covers off on the 3 legends that you and I have come to know and love. Again, I know GT2000 is a fan favorite of yours and your family's in particular, and we're excited to hear more about that from Steph here in a few moments. Moving on to Sportstyle, Tim. I think that as we look back to where all of this began in the performance lens 25, 30 years ago, there's so much history and heritage as it pertains to our Sportstyle models as well. And I think that these versions of our legends are available now as everyday lifestyle shoes. Would love to hear a little bit more about that from you.
Yeah, so the legends are definitely having a moment, and that's spilled into the Sportstyle world. We've been on a little bit of a journey with Cayano 14 the last couple of years, which has been super receptive in the marketplace. And we couldn't pass up this opportunity to storytell and especially tie back our line to Cayano-san and the history and heritage that we have as a brand. So in the past year and a half, there's been a big uptick in love for the Gel Cayano 14, the Gel 1130, as well as the GT 2160 that just launched this summer. And we'll have more iterations and energy coming on those models over the next calendar year. So a lot's to come from Sportstyle, but really a pure moment in time where we're celebrating the Y2K aesthetic and how kids are adopting that for fashion now. As John used to adopt it for function, I'm adopting it for fashion now.
I love that. And I think as we look at a few different iterations of that model, bringing it into the lifestyle and sports style space, how would you say, or what would you say are those differentiators of those particular models that you're offering within the sports style realm?
Yeah, so again, being storytellers at our core, we're always trying to bring the consumer back to a specific moment in time, or trigger them to be creative and innovative on their own to see what they can do from a styling perspective. So with our vintage tech product right now, we are seeing lots of success staying true to the OG roots of some of the design language, with that pure silver being really impactful from a design lens. But we're also starting to mix in some of those beloved suedes, nubucks, leathers that our core sports style consumers used to seeing on like Gel-Lyte 3 and Gel-Lyte 5. So starting to play with materials there for a more lifestyle perspective, as well as creating unique stories through new materials and specifically new iterations of some of the Kayanos.
Amazing. And I think as we're thinking about, again, the heritage, the history, what has inspired what the models have come to be today, it would be amiss to not celebrate and highlight the original model that started it off for the Gel Kayano series, the initial and original Gel Kayano trainer. What started off as a sports style and lifestyle model was quickly adapted into a performance run product for our line. But as you've heard from both John and myself, and now from Tim, that this model certainly has paid tribute, or is being paid tribute, in both the sports style and the performance worlds for our brand. So an exciting year and moment in time all around.
Yes, definitely. And then just a quick nod back to that, some of that design language we were talking about. Specifically, we are going to be celebrating Kayano through the Kayano legacy model. And so this is a moment in time, again, always wanting to tell a story and tie it back to our history and heritage. But with Kayano 30 having the moment, we really wanted to make sure sports style was present there too. So the team actually created what we're calling the Kayano legacy. And this actually draws elements from 10 different Kayanos from the past. You'll even see some of the tiger stripe aesthetic from the original merged into the Kayano legacy. So big shout out to our global product team for creating a really unique moment for us in sports style.
That is an incredible moment. And again, just goes to show how much of a legacy these models are having and leaving legendary for us, and why we want to celebrate them during this year of the legend. It's great. And for everyone looking to buy these models, where would you send them, Tim?
Right to asics.com.
Amazing. So everyone keep an eye out for all of our latest legends that John and I have spoken about thus far. And of course, the sports style models that Tim just took us through as well. But of course, we cannot close out celebrating the Year of the Legends without speaking about our latest model that just released newly this month, the GT 2012. Steph, would love to hear about an overview of the GT 2012 model and everything you have to say about this latest launch for us.
Of course. So this shoe is lightweight and very versatile. It offers great stability so it's for that person who overpronates, but I would also suggest it for that person who is neutral but just wants a little bit more guidance in their runs. It has an engineered mesh upper, which is a very comfortable fitting upper material, but also offers advanced breathability, which is obviously super important for any performance runner. So it has an updated tongue that differs from previous versions. It's to improve support and comfort to the midfoot. And then as you can see, there is something different here at the heel as well. So we have an updated lean back shape to it to reduce any irritation, also to the Achilles, and also to add additional comfort to the shoe as well. And I know you recently spoken to the Pure Gel. So, I know a lot of consumers were concerned when we released our new models for the Year of the Legend, and they didn't have that visible gel. But that's not to say that gel's not there. Like John had said earlier, it's integrated inside the shoe itself. We've updated with Pure Gel, which happens to be 65% softer than previous versions. We've also increased that stack height to the shoe. So added additional cushioning, as well as changed our flight foam to a flight foam glass Plus, so full insert of that to add additional cushion and support as well. So all of those features together have created a much softer shoe, but a much lighter weight shoe as well. When you compare the GT 2012 to the GT 2011, we've shaved off about 15 grams from the previous version. And then we do have the 3D guidance system as well. So I know that kind of sounds crazy, right? When you think of the gait cycle, typically it's landing to toe off. So we have the increased heel bevel here to add a controlled impact for a smoother transition to that midfoot stance. So we have that wider base now, and that's to offer a little bit more of a stable platform. And we also have that forefoot flare that adds a smooth ride to that landing to the toe off experience. So all in all, a much more on-demand stability performance through your entire run. And we have GT 2000, we have Kayano 30, so both a part of our stability family, stability stylo. Think of your Kayano as the runner of choice if you're going on your long distance runs. Your GT 2000 is a lighter weight option, so it's a little bit more versatile. So whether you're doing your long runs one day, your short ones, you have a lot more options in where you would take that. And so what are your thoughts of the new model? Have you run with it yet?
I have. So I've run a few runs in it, and for those who might be concerned about some of the changes, don't be. They're just incredible. And I know Steph went over a whole bunch of different updates, which are fabulous. I just know that the feels like is incredible in this shoe. And so everything you're describing comes into play. Not that you feel one component more than another, but just the entire ride from the heel to toe off is just incredible. And I'm someone that doesn't really, I don't want to have a lot of, things sticking in me at different points and stuff like that. And this just has an incredible lightweight cushion feel. I know my son runs in it. He's one of our elite athletes. Jim Spivey, who's one of our legendary athletes, has always run in the 2000s. And this is just a fabulous update. So thanks for all that tech.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Steph, for taking us through the latest updates of the GT 2012, an incredible model and offering to our Legends lineup. Thank you, Tim, for speaking about all of our Sportstyle heritage models. A lot to look forward to in that regard. And John, for taking us through performance. We have a lot going on over here at ASICS from both a performance standpoint as well as our Sportstyle heritage standpoint, and a lot more to celebrate. Speaking of celebrations.
Yeah. And so for all of you watching right now, thank you so much for joining us. You've all been entered into a sweepstakes for a $500 gift card. If you are the winner, you'll be notified at the end of October.
And for all of you that are looking to find out a bit more about our Year of the Legends, please join us at asics.com/Year of the Legends to find out more about our latest models that we spoke about today. Thanks everyone for joining.